Freddie Prinze Jr., voice of Kanan Jarrus from Star Wars Rebels, and welcome to Nabil6901's YouTube channel, your channel for all reviews on Star Wars products. May the Force be with you.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Hey, lot going on here. Dave, there was a couple characters there that I recognized. It was such a privilege to be on the show as Obi-Wan in the first episodes, and that was so great. But now we have some other Clone Wars alumni, and I think they're here at Celebration. In fact, I think they're here right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Ashley Eckstein and Dave. Hey! Welcome back! Having fun? So,
I've been waiting for this moment for a long time.
We all! So, wait. How does it, now it's time for a really dumb question. How does it feel? Ashley?
Oh my goodness, well, the secret was out for me after the season 1 finale. That was a hard secret to keep. But I was recording one day in the recording studio, and in walks D. Bradley Baker. And I looked at Dave, and I mean, honestly, I looked at D, and I just started crying. Like, tears coming down my face, because it had been over 2 years since we recorded together, and I didn't know, where Captain Rex was. I didn't know if Ahsoka knew where he was, and yeah, and so I just started crying. I was so happy that Captain Rex was back.
Yeah. And Dee, tell us about that call. How'd you get that call?
Well, it kind of took my breath away, because I mean, the only hopeful thing I had was that Rex hadn't been killed off in the Clone Wars. And so there was still some hope of that coming back into the story. So I was more than thrilled, because I want to, I want to see what this guy's still got in him. And I think the fans are really going to see that, along with a few of his clone friends. I guess I'm not going to tell you much more about that. I'll leave that to you to tell you more of the details. But
look at those guys.
As you saw, to see these fellows going up, these old lions going up at an Imperial Walker is it's pretty awesome. But to me, more importantly, I mean, this is a very exciting trailer as someone who loves Star Wars in the old way, and as well as in the new manifestations. I mean, it looks just fantastic, and it feels fun and energetic. It's got the drama and the fun and the life that the cast already brings to it, and it is very exciting.
It is
what
exciting.
is coming up.
And in fact, it's so exciting, I know that there are people here that would love to ask you all questions. So is it all right if we take some questions from this council right here?
And one more thing I want to say before we get to that is, because I appreciate you guys loving the trailer and something. I try to keep so many parts of Clone Wars alive in different ways. It's not just important to you guys, they're people I work with, they're important to me. Every trailer I ever did on Star Wars, Clone Wars, and now Rebels has been done by my personal friend Kevin Yost. We used to get together and play Star Wars role-playing game before we ever had jobs at Lucasfilm together. So I always make sure that Kevin is personally responsible for these type of cinematic trailers. And I just think, once again, for your reaction, Kev, if you're here, you've done a phenomenal job. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Mark and Elliot, are you guys out there?
Yes, I'm over here. I have Lori from Tennessee.
Okay. Hey, Lori.
Huge fan, love the show. My first celebration. My husband comes all the time. We leave me at home because I have to stay with the kids. This is for Freddie. Huge fan, years. You're actually the reason I've forsaken my children to come.
wouldn't have told that to Freddie before. About 1,000.
I tried it earlier, he would have none of it.
You have to have Freddie Prinze Jr. shoes.
Yeah. Oh, look at go. Okay, hey, while he's doing that, let's jump.
Come over here,
What do you
James.
got over there?
All right, what's your name?
My name's Kevin.
All right, what's your question?
I work with Sales One. We're a jewelry designer. We have a Star Wars license, and we have a prototype of Chopper, and I just wanted to give it to Dave.
Wow, this is like just like Love Fest here.
We're doing business.
Yeah, you want to bring it over here? Oh, we're slowly disbanding the cast into the audience. That's nice.
I'm going to tweet a picture of the of Freddie signing for this woman so that her children can see on Twitter what mommy's doing right now.
Elliot, who do you got there?
I am Alec from California.
Okay, what's the question?
I just have a question for Steve, Dee, and James, all the other voice actors. I want to get into this industry. I've done a couple of auditions, and I just want to know, like, what tips can you give me?
Go to iwanttobeavoiceactor.com.
Yes, I made a website that's for anybody interested in voice acting as an amateur or maybe as a professional. It's all free and it's everything I think about voice acting. It's called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. It's completely free and it's just me yammering on and on. I think it's got some good info. Good luck.
Okay. We've got the best seats in the house here, and I thought I should ask them if they have any questions. You do? Oh, thank you, Mark. We have a question right here. What is your name?
Connor.
Connor, what's your question for them?
This is for Dave. How did Captain Rex and all the other clones there, how did they survive? Like, how did they get past, how did they get past not killing when Hayden and Ezra come, not killing them after Order 66?
That's what I'm more used to. And you see, I say it's every celebration. It's all comes in a package about this tall, smiling faces, innocent looks. You think, oh, probably fun question. How crazy is Chopper? How did Rex survive? Well, this panel doesn't have enough time for me to explain the full depth of that story. Disappointing 4,000 people makes my day. I will say that, like, probably when I perceived it, and we went back and forth towards the end of Clone Wars with Rex's fate. George and I had several conversations about it. There were a lot of things that once I knew George told the company that I made sure he and I sat down and we discussed at length. There were a couple key topics. One was Rex, and definitely the other was Ahsoka. How did they survive? Do they survive? What happens there? We had everything mapped out right up through Revenge of the Sith. So I know in detail why that is. I'll give you something because you're here on the weekend. But if you've watched the season 6 episodes on Netflix with Clone Arc, where Fives discovers the nature of the encoding that they have chip in their head. You have to remember that Fives tells Rex about that. And Fives would believe another trooper. So even though it's outlandish to Anakin that Palpatine's in charge, he actually says it to Anakin and Rex right in front of them. Fives accuses everybody. So I always felt that truth can break any spell. It's an old mythological idea that in a fairy tale, if you know the truth, you can kind of break these evil spells if your heart is true. And you have to imagine if Rex got to that point and had a blaster raised, I don't think he could do it. What would be hard for Rex, and you can wrap your head around this, is the minute Rex wouldn't execute his general, he becomes a traitor as well. And the other clones will gun down the traitor clone. So that was something we had also discussed. So that's a bit of a look at that. And you'll see, just to give you this other tease, because if you haven't thought this through, we all love Rex. Kanan, not so much. It's pretty clear why. So, okay. That's more than I ever give you. It's more than I ever give you.
they've ever been ever.
Okay, Mark, you're right here. Yeah,
Got a guy from Canada. What's your name again?
Matt.
Matt, what's your question, Matt from Canada?
This actually is towards Freddie and Dave, because barring Mara Jade, my favorite character in Star Wars now is Mara Kanan, aka Caleb Doom. And yes, I read A New Dawn in the comics. It's fantastic, it's a great read. But it was going back to season 1. It was during the Temple episode with Taylor as well. And when Yoda, Frank Oz, came back and he was talking to the both of you, from an acting perspective and also maybe from a story perspective, when Yoda starts talking to him, he says, "Oh, you've taken a master now," and it's like, would you consider Yoda anointing him unofficially a Jedi Knight, and would Kanan perceive that as a knighting? And if he did or didn't, does he think I'm not ready for this position to be a Jedi Knight, or does he say it's like, well, sometimes I have to step up and do it because I got a kid right here, or I got to use a lightsaber?
You're awesome, by the way.
There's only one way to top that first question.
Does he have a follow-up question too?
It's funny, everybody's laughing at you, but don't take it personally because I asked the exact same question to Dave and asked if I could speak with Pablo. So Dave and I kind of discussed this. I don't know how much factual information we can give you without spoiling some of the stuff that Kanan's going to have to go through. I will tell you this. If we're staying true to the sort of 5 trials, I wouldn't say that Kanan is even halfway there, me personally. If you want to say that his test of courage is complete, or the test of flesh, I don't remember what the name of that one is, I'm just calling it flesh. Maybe you can argue those two, but it could be something that we could debate. But I can't, and I don't think Dave would tell you much either unless you get this kid to ask. But if you get too much of a sense of where Kanan's at, then you lose some of the magic of where he's going to go. But I would say if you want to count 2 of the 5, you might be able to. Probably 1 for sure.
All right, excellent. You've got one right here? Oh, don't be fooled, Dave.
That's the most dangerous one. She's even smaller.
Let's see. Hello, my dear. What's your name? What's your question, Eliza? Don't disappoint Eliza.
Who does Chopper's voice in the movie?
Your microphone.
I got you all done.
Wow.
It's a Jedi sidebar.
I told her the truth.
Okay, Elliot, where
I am Davey from Indiana.
Right, go for it.
Hey, thank you all for doing this panel. Rebels is great. There is an interesting poster of Ahsoka facing off with Vader. Can you shed any light on their relationship in season 2 and if they face off?
Are you gonna whisper that one in his ear too?
You kind of hoping people would ask to sign something right now?
Well, I'll try to give you as best an answer as I can. Ahsoka and Vader was the topic that George and I discussed, specifically. I asked him exactly what you're asking me now. And I said, what would that be like? What does she know? What would she know? So, let's just say that it's part of the story that we have to tell you. You know? Let's just say that.
Right over here with Ryan. I'm with Ryan from Moreno Valley. What's your question, Ryan?
Hi guys, thanks for being here. My question is for Dave. Is there any hope that at some point we can see the return of Cad Bane?
Well, You know what's exciting to me though is that Rex is back. So Hondo's back. Did you see Hondo? Hondo. So, you know, what was really important, and Simon and I discussed this in the beginning, there's Hondo talking about Rebels, is that we wanted the cast of Rebels to have their space, wanted the characters to have their space. They had to own this time period. It's really, and this is important, I think, for everybody to remember, it's really the story of this crew, Ezra's evolutions, Jedi Knight Kanan. So it's that story. If we found a way to include characters from the past, then those character moments are important for the story that we're telling now. They're passing into the story, through the story. So I think we have to be very careful about which characters we bring into Rebels, period. And that includes the classic trilogy and the prequel trilogy as well. You worry about having this small universe, and even when we think we're being good at it, you know, I noticed a series of episodes we had Yoda, Lando, and then Tarkin not long after. And that's like, you know, I think it played off well, but we are very conscious that we don't want it to seem like a stream of guest appearances. It has to be vital to the story, and luckily I think we find ways to do that. So if it made sense, the answer would, you know, if he's alive, of course, yes. But anything could happen to a bounty hunter, I don't know. Cad was crazy, and I don't know where, you know.
Voiced by the amazing Corey Burke, by the way, who was the voice of Count Dooku, Zero the Hutt, and so many others. Just fascinating. Stuff. And Jim Cummings coming back as Hondo. Gotta give a shout out to the amazing Jim Cummings. I think we have time for one more question. Elliot?
Yes. Here we go. What's your name? This is Axel, and he has a question. Here we go.
Why is Darth Vader not dead yet? Because didn't all the movies, I mean, the Star Wars Rebels episodes come out of all the movies?
Simon, you want to take this one? You're a Star Wars expert.
Why isn't Darth Vader dead? This, you know, we take place before New Hope, so Darth Vader.
I think it's one of these things where, you know, because some people, especially someone younger like Axel, is being introduced to Star Wars in a world now. It is one of the things you have to kind of juggle, don't you, with this show?
Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the things we talked about from the beginning, and it was the first impulse, was that we wanted the show to take place between the prequels and the original trilogy, which is confusing because I know for a lot of kids, actually, they see the prequels first. Sure. But for us, it was wanting to take place right before the beginning of the Rebels, of the Alliance, right before Episode 4. So the Darth Vader that you know from the original movies, this is just before those movies take place, and they sort of rise into ultimate power.
I think that's what's really exciting about what we just saw. This is as close to Anakin as you're going to get. This is right after